All right, guys. Hello, good evening. Hello, Moon Chime. How are ya? How are ya? How is everybody this evening? This is High Priestess Jamila. And, you know, I want to talk about a little bit about past life, and I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I'm going to end up starting a spiritual university. I am, so that people can, you know, I can see in the future, probably about 20 years from now, they are going to mainstream spirituality way more. And I can see clearly what they're going to do is they are definitely going to require people to complete a certain set of hours of spiritual education before they are allowed to go out here and be a spiritual advisor. Okay. So I believe in that. Everybody always wants to talk about education, but nobody wants to educate spiritually except for Abrahamic religions. Okay. And so, yeah, anyway. So your karmics that are acting a fool, um, a lot of the times when you have that problem, it is because there is a past life connection, unfortunately. And sometimes what will happen, especially if you may be dealing with someone that is probably not a very ethical person anyway to begin with, but somebody that is not learnt on that, on why they feel the way that they feel about you, about certain people. And this is where a person doesn't know who they are. Hey, Jen. Hey, girl. Hey. The person doesn't exactly know who they are and why they feel what they feel. And they don't really bother to even figure it out. And even if they do figure it out, they probably are a corrupt individual anyway. Okay. So here's the deal with your karmics. Your karmics know that you may have done something to them. They feel it very strongly. It's the energy and spirit of death and spirit that has came through lifetimes, has traveled. And then a lot of y'all that have um, past lives, um, like directly before this one, because it's very close. It's a little too close for comfort. And past life stuff is rarely discussed, especially in the Black communities. Like, it's past life regressions are actually taboo in the Black community, which they shouldn't be. Okay, it should be something that should be discussed, but instead we're learning about Jesus's past life and not our own, which is a mistake, but whatever. So let me ask y'all a question, and I'm gonna see if y'all know the answer to this question. Let's say somebody that you did somebody wrong or dirty during the past life. Okay. Let's say you were a bad person in that past life. Let's say that, you can honestly say, yeah, I do feel, even if you don't know exactly who you were, but, as a spiritualist, I actually um, can give you your name, the year you were born, what happened. Okay. This is something that I've been exploring for years now, even before I came to YouTube. So let's say you were a bad person in that life and you did something to that person that may have caused them trauma or pain. Are they able to punish you in this current life because of it? Are they able to do that? Does anybody know the answer to that question? And I don't care what you did. I don't care what you did to them. Are they able to punish you? For something that you did when you were a totally different person? The answer is no. A big, big, big no. No, they're not, moonshine. I mean, they can try. They can try, but the answer is actually no, sweetie. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. First of all, you were a different person in that life. In this life, you are a brand new person. You may have the same soul and everything, but you're still a new person. It's a different incarnation. So, no, they can't. And here's why they shouldn't. It doesn't matter. And I'm not making this up as I go along. I mean, my matron goddess is Santa Muerta. Okay. So, I'm very well versed on this. Um, your karmics are going to get themselves in trouble for attacking you, first of all, at all. But when you think about it, you know, we're smart people. We're not asking ourselves this question, why are you so obsessed with me? Okay. That doesn't just apply to your lovers, but it also applies to your enemies sometimes. And if you did something horrible to them, which is horrible, um, you're a brand new person. And your karmics are constantly getting themselves in trouble because and it doesn't matter if they know or if they don't know, because we all know that we're talking about karma, we're talking about death, we're talking about, space time continuum and all that. We're basically talking about uh, physics. Okay. Quantum physics, which is something that I think should be taught to every spiritualist. I feel like it should be just like doing hair. You need to be licensed because you need to be educated so you can know. Your karmics are going to destroy themselves because number one, they a lot of them haven't figured out why they feel the way that they feel about you. I mean, this is even if you murdered them in the past life. Like if you murdered them or, stole from them, whatever it was. What the hell is wrong with you? Lena, let me light an incense for Lena. They're going to get themselves in trouble. Lena, what is it, baby? You see how she all of a sudden, this is my guardian and protector. It's okay, baby. Come here. It's your big head. Come here, baby. Come here. You okay, baby? Okay. I think we gonna have to take her up to the vet. Anyway, so your karmics, they don't know. They don't know what the problem is. They just know that they hate your guts. They just know I must destroy this person. You know how your karmics are. They just like, yeah, all day, every day, yeah. But in reality, they can't because you are living in a different reality. So they may feel very strongly, you did something to me. I can't quite figure it out, but it's something, and I'm going to get you. Okay. And so what they will do is they will create all of this crud in this life that don't make no good sense. Okay. And they'll be trying to destroy and ruin your life for something that you actually didn't do. And depending on what it was that you did to them, more than likely you are, well, first of all, that's up to God. Okay. Over here, we do believe in God. We believe in gods and we believe in the source and we believe in that. Okay. Because people clearly don't have enough sense to not have any guidance. We got to have some kind of guidance. Okay. So, they'll be doing all this stuff and causing all these problems and they'll feel very entitled to do that to you. They'll feel entitled to this vengeance on you. Spirit and God, in particular, Santa Muerta, is one of the reasons why I work with her. They're regulating that. You can't do that. Okay, so your karmics eventually they're gonna have to face the music. And how you beat the karmic is by you being educated on it and you knowing what happened and doing work on it. You don't owe them anything. Okay, especially, let's say you were a murderer in the past life. Okay. Let's say that in the past life you just messed up. Okay. And you may have murdered your enemy's family member or something in the past life. More than likely, especially if justice was served in that life, either you were put to death or you had to go to jail or you were murdered or something, executed, you've already repaid that karmic debt. So you don't owe them anything, and they can end up owing you. It's like, what's wrong with you? Yeah, I know that you really don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And you can know. You don't have to tell them. You don't have to tell them what's going on. But you know, they can end up owing you. Okay, if they do that, and you have to be careful with karmics because they don't have control over themselves. They are experiencing anger, resentment, hurt, pain from that past life, but they don't really know where it's coming from. They don't understand. Thank you, Moonshine. Thank you. And so, it's important for them to understand themselves and figure out, why am I, tripping with this person? Really, they have to be honest with themselves. And in the meantime, you have the divine right to protect yourself. Let's say, for example, you robbed somebody in the past life, and you may have taken a large amount of money from them. Okay. You may have really did them in. And they come in this life and they trying to either steal it back from you, thinking that it's okay. I'm getting vengeance on you. But in reality, they can't, because that was a different life. You've already died. Technically, you have the same soul. They cannot hold you to what you've done to them in a past life. The answer is no. And there have been many karmics that have killed, but there have been many karmics that have been destroyed. Their lives end up destroyed, and they will be sitting there looking crazy as a cuckoo bird. For some reason my spirits keep saying a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. What does that mean? Jen, can you do me a favor and find out what that means? Because if I close this out, I'm gonna have to open up another window and all this stuff. I'm on my phone. What does that mean exactly? Can you post it for me, sweetie? A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. I've heard that saying before a lot, but I don't really know what it means right now. But for some reason, my spirits are bringing it up. Anyway, they have got to leave it alone. They cannot hold you, judge you, persecute you. Typically, these are the karmics that could be falsely persecuting you. Okay. And you never know, hell, what you did to them in the past life, they may have deserved it. Shit. I know, I'm joking. And so, this is one of the reasons why, guess what? Y'all already know who I was in the past life. I should have bad karma. I should have been shot and stabbed and all that stuff, man. My kids should hate me. Y'all know who I was. I was the infamous Ma Barker, and she was not just providing support. Ma Barker was factually a criminal. In that life, I'm just gonna, people have tried to say that she wasn't, to protect her reputation. I understand that. You don't have to believe this. You don't even have to believe me. But I can tell you that she was a bad one. She was a bad bitch. She was the definition, the epitome of bad as hell, because she had a lot of problems because her father had molested her. Her brothers molested her. She lost her mother at a very young age. She was, oh man, messed up and didn't give a damn. She put a bullet in you in a heartbeat. So you can just see the contrast. In this life, she's a good person, and she's already paid for her sins. She's already paid the price. She done paid the piper. You know, and even though Ma Barker has, and her name was Arizona Donnie Clark, okay, you can still contact her spirit based upon that time frame. So that's why you can still get in touch with your deceased relatives or deceased folks, even though they may have been reincarnated, because you're actually and factually um you're communicating with that person from that space and time. Once your time is up on this planet, you are no longer a part of anything that's going on. Your life stops at your date of death. Okay. Witchy elites. I don't really know who you are, sweetie. What you want to come up here for? I Googled it. It says it's better to have a small security advantage than the possibility of a bigger one. It's better to stick with what you have than risk it for something greater. Interesting. I don't know why my spirits was saying that to me. Interesting. Hmm. I guess what they mean, you know, don't risk what you already have for something bigger, maybe. I guess appreciate what you have. Okay. Give me a second. That's Trinity. Trinity, you're gonna have to cam up for me to know that that's you. But it would make sense for Trinity to want to come up here because she speaks about time travel a lot, which I think is very interesting. I would love to hear you speak more about that on your channel because it's a very, very, very real thing. And the astral is what connects us. Okay. It's what connects us to the past life. But at the end of the day, you are a new person. The reason that's the whole point of reincarnation is for you to come back and try it again. So nobody has the right to take that away from you. God gives you that right to make this lifetime better. And what the karmic is saying is some of your karmics know, some of them know what connection they had in a past life. And in this life, they may be bad people. So they're looking for something to judge you for or to try to harm you. Okay. But in reality, they can't do that either. It's not permittable. And they can't say, oh, well, I know I was this person in the past life and you did this to me. So I get to no, you don't. Okay. They don't. And the best thing for you to do as the person, you like, well, hell, I'm trying to live my life in this life. I'm positive. I'm I'm a good person, you know. Hey, Shamika, good evening. I'm a good person, I ain't bothering this person at all, and they just all over the place, just going nuts, you know. And it is unfortunate to just so happen to run for you to just run into a karmic, and avoiding your past life is not gonna do that. So it's not like, oh, if you don't open up the doorway is already opened. It's been open since you were born. So it's not gonna make a difference for you to just say, oh, I'm gonna ignore it and and not give it life, but it already has life. And then some of y'all are experiencing hauntings from a past life. Okay. And so this is like a generalized haunting. Some of y'all have up to 30 or 40 lifetimes that you are working through. Depends on how old your soul is. And some of you guys will benefit from, continued past life regression, spiritual work. I mean, you can get therapy. Like I said, therapists, I believe that since they know so much about the human mind, I believe that they are qualified. But I think that if you want results faster, and if you are experiencing a negative karmic situation that stems from a past life, I think it would do you some good. I think, to actually research it, get some advice on it, because it's a very, very real thing. Okay. In a lot of ways, we are walking through the valley of the shadow of death. So, like, for example, you may have major karmics in your life, but then you may have these little insignificant spirits that could be attached or either following you from some past life. And so, if you can figure it out, or if you get a name or whatever, or a name that keeps coming up, or either you figure it out by maybe looking at the news or history or something. Because and especially if you're on YouTube, even if you're just a viewer, I'm willing to bet that a lot of y'all probably were in the news at least once or twice in your past lives. So that's what makes it, yeah, yeah, y'all know what I'm saying. So, but no, they can't, and they better fix it. They better get it together, because spirit gonna look at them like they crazy. And I believe that Santa Martha helps with a lot. She's one of them that helps with a lot of the old souls. But then again, a lot of the goddesses, gods, demons, whatever it is that you work with, they will help you with that, because that, it's unfair, it's unjust. It's unjust for you to have to be persecuted through this life for something that you did in a past life, or something that happened. And then some of your karmics, they, you know, hold on, y'all. So they got to get it together, because in this life, you have the right to live a healthy, happy life. Yeah. Mine too, Jen. And a lot of people don't want to deal with it because they don't want to face it. And I think that your karmics can either be a sensible person, they can be a good person. Your karmic can be a good person, they can be a sensible person, or they can be bad shit out of their mind. They can be a bad person anyway. Because I think that in general, if somebody does try to punish you for something that you did in a past life, I think that that already energetically can mean that that person must be a bad person. And then why don't they have an understanding of it? And some of them do, and they could just be bad people. And you can tell by the way they move that they just bad people all around. Okay. And they will feel quite justified in almost taking you into this spiritual prison, so to speak. But the spiritual prison becomes their own, because what, like, it could have been something that happened 100 years ago. Even if it was 50 years ago, it doesn't matter. They don't have the right to impede on your life in this life. And that is the truth. Okay. And I believe that that comes directly from God, because God makes the decisions on who comes into this world. Now, a lot of people believe that woman is God, but it's not a flesh and blood woman. It's an energy, it's a spirit, and I don't know. They date back the original woman as being Lilith, Christians do. Okay. Christians do. So I feel like they are, if you were wrong, I saw that it's a ritual too, making people believe they have met in a past life just to bind the person. No, I'm talking about like some real unexplained phenomenon. Okay. Is what I ain't talking about something that's artificially made. I'm talking about real bad blood, and this could be a relationship. It could be, but it's not. I'm not even talking about a lover. I'm talking about your enemies. I'm talking about females, and keep in mind, one EQL, that your female enemies could have been a male in the past life. Could have been a male. Could have been a man. They could have been a man in the past life. Now they're a woman and they out to get you completely and totally. To the point where they got soldiers and an army against you. You know what I'm saying? No, I guess it could be artificial. Yes, but I think that if that is the case, it just is what it is. Okay. No, some of y'all, one EQL, some of y'all where people have unexplained beefs with you that make no sense. Some of those people you had a past life connection with. Something happened. You may have, like I said, I can tell you, okay, so let me give you an example, one EQL. Let me break this down for you. I was Ma Barker in a past life. This I know for a fact. I even look just like her. Okay, we look just alike. Okay. I was her. And that's just, that is the reality, is that I was Ma Barker. Okay. And you realize all the stuff I did during that lifetime. I kidnapped somebody, stole 100 grand from them, robbed banks, and there were murders that I was responsible for. Okay, including murders of sex workers, because Ma Barker actually had a beef with a madam. She had a beef with her. The madam is the one. She's the one that the madam, which was the place where her sons were, where Ma's sons were going to have sex. They were that madam got mad because Ma Barker came in with guns and snatched her sons up out of there. And she's the one that led to Ma Barker being shot by the police, because she said something, she gave a tip to the police, okay, on where to find her, because the son was in there high, he was on heroin. One of my sons was addicted to heroin, and he was in there running his mouth to one of the sex workers, okay. And so there were, I believe, 3 or 4 um sex workers that Ma Barker murdered or either had killed. Okay. And then there was the police. There was a police officer that was shot during one of the shootouts when they were pursuing the sons. Um and so coming into this life, more than likely, with all that smoke that was going on, at some point I'm going to run in to those people, or either their spirits, or either just carrying that negative karmic energy with me, especially when you think about, space and time. Okay, especially when you think about that, and when you think about how spirits travel. Okay. And then also, when you think about the fact that I actually spoke about this, and anybody that might want to be an enemy that wants to get back at me could possibly conjure these spirits from the past and possess people, or either somebody, because I've met several people that I knew from a past life, and it was not good. It wasn't a good experience. And, the bridges was burning from that life because, especially from the one is Ma Barker. I think in my other lifetimes it was different things going on, but in that one specifically, I was a fucking hellion. I didn't have no good sense. I was stupid as hell. So, for example, and I'm not saying that this is what's happening, but for example, I could run into a reincarnated version of some of them sex workers that I murdered back then. And they could still be pissed and not even know why. Okay. When it comes to past life stuff, what people have to understand instead of denying it is to take the rebirth. Understand the rebirth. You are a different person. You don't have to deny it for it to be fixed. Okay. So, if you did have a lifetime where you were an outlaw, but you got to understand, see, with me, I've come to a place of self love. Ma Barker was born into a poor family, very poor. Ma Barker was alive during the Depression, during Prohibition. When you look and see, when even if you were not a famous person, but I do a past life reading on you and we can get dates and everything and even your name, you may or may not find yourself, if you're not, here's my thing about it. And if it, typically if you're not able to find your name somewhere in the records, okay, like the actual census records or something, then it's a possibility that either your existence was not recorded, it was deleted for some odd, strange reason, or it happened in another country or another continent. Because you can manifest yourself over in Moscow. You can be somebody that was Russian. I have a past life as a Russian girl too. And I think that movie, The Orphan, for some reason, The Orphan just resonates with me. I don't know why. I don't like The Orphan, because she's a bad person. But like that last one that they did, I was like, oh, I was like, oh, the villain. I'm liking her villainous style. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you're thinking about love. Okay, see that's an easy fix, sort of, kinda. But we talking about the more complicated stuff to where because I get what you're saying. Yeah, right, yes. Now here's the thing about it though, and I thought it was interesting in American Horror Story when old girl, oh my, why can't I ever remember Diane Lane? Diane, her name is it Diane Lane? Jessica Lane. Jessica, I'm so sorry if you watching, I'm so sorry, I love you. That's my girl right there. Yes. Like they shouldn't have, man, they should have made her come back. Okay. Anyway, I like Jessica Lange. Okay. And I think that Apocalypse was missing her, but I think it was appropriate because she was such a horrible mother to old girl. So yeah, it's all good. Anyway, but so um if y'all remember in American Horror Story, the very first season, and you remember when Jessica Lange was actually a ghost. right? Remember when she was an actual ghost and she had a tie with the her and her old housekeeper that was sleeping with her husband because she shot him. She caught them having sex and she shot both her husband and the housekeeper in the eye. So, and they kind of go into that through the series of, I think it was the first one, Murder House. And so that's an example of that. Okay. But they more so spoke about it as if it was in death. They were ghosts, but a lot of y'all are ghosts. Yeah, and what makes you a ghost is that, you've been here before. So, and it's an extremely sensitive topic for a lot of people. Past life is not for the faint of heart because you start those, it starts to, in fact, when you look at the human, have you ever seen the cogwheels? They actually, I believe that that has something to do. They've got like amulets that have cogwheels in them as the brain, right? And I think that that is kind of what happens in that rush of energy, that information where you start to see, or feel, not see, but some of y'all are feeling it, that past life flash by you, and it's scary as fuck. So that's why a lot of people don't want to touch that subject. And I believe that that is what that holy death is or something. I could be wrong, but when I was experiencing past life regressions from Ma Barker, it was like a roller coaster. And the first times that I was experiencing it, it was very scary, and this was at the beginning when I needed to heal some of those wounds still, because those, I was still being wounded in this life from that life because I was so goddamn evil. Okay. And I haven't had those experiences lately, but some of those experiences were good and some of them were bad. They are experiences that I've been having my entire life, even before I knew that Ma Barker existed, that she ever existed. I didn't even know about her. And I was having dreams about her house that was over in Florida. So I was actually like, and I was with these unfamiliar people that I didn't know. And I was like, what the hell am I doing in here? And it had the arched doorways and everything. If you look at, I believe, let me look at that. I'm gonna pull that up. I'm pull it up on my TV. But if I'm not mistaken right now, if my memory serves me well, uh the doorways in Ma Barker's house are arched. And I for some reason I had a dream about it. Even before I had ever saw her house, I dreamt of it. Okay. Hold on, y'all. Let me look this up real quick. Because you can very easily go and Google, look it up on YouTube. They'll show pictures of the inside. Let me put this on here. So, and those experiences were not bad because those were the happier times, when she was able to go to Florida. She was very happy about moving to Florida because she went there to retire after she was done with her criminal empire. Okay. And so I would have dreams about the good times. I would be sitting at a table having coffee with some strange man, and I figured out years later that it was Freddie. Cause me and Freddie would get up in the morning and see how I can't stop it. Me and Freddie would get up and have coffee. Okay. And even my son during this lifetime, me and him, we get up in the morning and we have coffee. So it's so weird. Anyway, I'm not saying that he's Freddie. Okay. He possibly could be. When I have the time, I'll look into it. Um, and I think that that's going to be his experience. God willing, I'll still be here, and I'll be able to counsel him on that. If he ever experiences any hiccups in life because of his past life as Freddie, if he is Freddie. All right, let me look this up real quick, because if I'm not mistaken, it was arched doorways in that house. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Um, but yeah, and so you're not just bringing in bad things. It's not all bad. Your past life, you're bringing in the lesson. And I can honestly say that some of my victims, um, the reason why they had a date with my wrath, they kind of just played victim. They didn't really see, the error to their own ways. Let me look up her house real quick. I believe it was, though. Oh yeah, girl. Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna try to see. Let me find the inside of the house. I want to actually see the inside, because and they moved her house, but I believe they moved it in a location where it wasn't near the water, and she's just like not happy. But what can she do about it? Okay. Okay, here we go. House tour. So, let me look at this. Let me review this real quick. Some of the door, I believe that there's a doorway in that house that is arched. And I know a lot of people probably like, she's lying. She was not Ma Barker. Yep, see, there it is right there. Hold on, let me show it to y'all. I would have dreams about that house even before, and then a few years later I saw a movie that was made about her, and I felt strangely and oddly connected to her. See? And I believe that there's a lot of arched doorways in that house. Okay. So it don't always have to be bad. And if you were a bad person in your past life, perhaps there was some good explanation for it. Nobody's making excuses. Um, I can honestly say that I could have did better, but I didn't. And am I apologetic for it? Yeah, I can say that. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a good person. Not gonna sit here and say, yeah, I did that and I don't care. No. But you got to understand the way the human mind can work sometimes. Or legs falling asleep more than normal in a healthy young person, a spiritual attack. I feel it going away over the past month. The individuals I suspect are having their limbs amputated. So if I feel like, um or are you asking because you feel that that could be connected to a past life, one EQL? Because it possibly could be. But you said somebody's having their limbs amputated. Damn, girl. I would say that if your legs are falling asleep more than they should be, more than what's normal, because yeah, that definitely could be, um, related to a spiritual attack, absolutely. But it also could be past life, one EQL, because sometimes some people bring past life illnesses, and some of the things that happen to you or some of the things that you experience can create illness in this life. Yeah. If it's a spell, they can throw it. Just asking if it's a spell, they can throw at a person. That would have to be very specific. You know what I'm saying? Legs falling asleep, definitely. That would be alarming. I know I would be alarmed if that was happening. But I think um it's related to your root chakra. So when your root chakra is doing anything, it can cause back pain, it can cause sciatica, and it can cause leg and foot problems. So even when you are balancing out your root chakra, or it's clearing itself out, you can get diarrhea, you can get constipation, uh, you know, uh, you can, yeah, you can get a lot from that. hmm But back to what I was saying, you guys got to understand that, you know, yes, you do have the right to a new beginning. Yes, you do. Okay. And people that are trying to deny you of that because of the past life, they in for a rude awakening. Okay. So, and I think that one of the things that is a complete uproar in the spiritual community, in particular when it comes to Black spiritual communities, is that they don't look at that. They don't actually look at the past life. They don't, and they don't do anything about it. They don't know the rituals that are required. They wouldn't know the first thing, and it's because there's not a whole lot of education. Okay. Now, if you are keen or understanding about witchcraft and stuff, then you can pretty much figure out, how to deal with the situation. But I feel that it's something that's not talked about and it's not presented. Okay. Even during the readings. And that's why you never find answers. Okay. That's why. And it's very, very hard because the things that overwhelm us, we avoid them and we think, oh, if I look at that, I'm just going to die. People get scared that people get scared. But you can't do that. You have to, if you want, and some of y'all blockages that y'all need to remove with your love life, your money, or other blockages in other areas, you need to do that by looking at the past life. You're welcome, hon. I'd say that would also concern me as a circulation problem, one EQL. And so you may want to go get you some CoQ10 because CoQ10 is really good for circulation problems too. But um, you may need medicine to help you get through some kind of past life regression. So it's nothing wrong with that, but I would say still take the spiritual steps because you can be getting persecuted because of your past life, you know especially those of you that have run-ins with the cops all the time. You be like, what is it? And yes, if you're a Black person in this lifetime, you could have been white, you could have been Hispanic, you could have been any race, Italian, Jewish. You could have been, because ain't Jewish considered a separate race of people? You could have been any race, or nationality. You could have been Native American. Okay. So it's important to explore that, especially if you have already explored every other avenue. And it's not to say that you didn't need to explore or handle those other things. But I think that ultimately to stop the negative karmic cycle, because you and other karmics, you're in a karmic cycle when technically you really don't have to be. Yes, a possibility. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a possibility. Yes, ma'am. The leg pain was bad as a child, unexplained. Now that I have spiritual help, my parents are having health issues like limbs being. Really? Damn. That's crazy. So, um, if you have an issue with a karmic, don't don't go shooting them and stuff. And my spirit's like, I think that this summer, boy, it's gonna be a rough summer for a lot of people. And I might talk about this later. A lot of murders, a lot of deaths this summer. Um, and then also it's not just looking at if you were a bad person. You need to look at what trauma is in your past life that may have been done by a bad person. And you cannot get revenge on that person in this time. Otherwise, you're gonna get some bad karma. You can specify for the revenge and the vengeance to happen back then. But like I said, more than likely, justice has already been served on that, unless you feel strongly that it hasn't. Like, for example, some of you women, if you got raped, in a past life, and you in this life, you have a lot of sexual problems. You feel like you're not being respected, you're not being heard, because let's face it, there are a lot of women who have been raped over and over and over again, millions. Man, oh my God, we need to summon a banshee. Goodness gracious, there's been a lot of women done wrong. Okay, and you come into this lifetime, and I believe that is partially what was going on with Eileen Warnos, because she was very, very, very angry and she could not get it together. And Charlize Theron did a good job depicting her. Yeah. So, you know, um, so you may bring that into this life and have things like sexual problems, issues, anger, resentment, towards men, or resentment for yourself. You may have a lot of self hatred. And, so if it's uncovered that you was wronged or raped or, something, trafficked even, in the past life, then what you have to do is, first of all, you have to put that back where it belongs. Okay. I got to call a client. Okay. I'm going to call my client and I'm going to go. I hope that this helped. Hit the thumbs up. Also the oracle reading that I did, make sure y'all go and take a look at that. Okay. I haven't done the timestamps yet, which I need to, but go take a look at that reading. That reading was very powerful and it can help you. Okay. It can help you, and it'll help you because you know how they say some things are beyond your control. But in reality, they are. Some of the circumstances in your life are not beyond your control. Some, and past life is what it is. Okay. All right, y'all. I will see y'all later. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Make sure that you subscribe to the Witches Broom channel and follow me on TikTok. Bless to you guys. And if you need past life regression therapy or work, because it does require spiritual work, you guys can contact me. Okay. All right. Bless. Bye bye.